Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Great Ace Attorney 2. We are getting near the finale of this incredible game. Let's get right into it. The finals. The final episode. The resolve of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Oh, I love it already. So, the time's finally come. Today we unravel everything. I'll be counting on your support more than ever today, Miss Susato. What's with your... You look really tired or sad. Miss Susato? Ow. Oh no, what's the matter, Mr. Naruhodo? Nothing. I was just saying that I'll be relying on your support today, but... Oh, I'm so sorry, of course. I know I can be rather incompetent at times, but... I shan't let you down. Would you mind helping me to my feet then? Oh dear, I'm really very sorry. Oh, we got the epic music too. Oh yeah, let's go. Susato's sound isn't her usual tone at all. That's hardly surprising, I suppose. She just found out that her father is the partner of a world-famous detective, not to mention... good morning, sir. Lord Van Zieks. Thank you for all your efforts yesterday. What? Did I hear that correctly? What? Oh, no, nothing. Just hope we can clear things up today. Really can't make this man out. His face says, I hate you. His words are almost jovial today. In fact, he hasn't been very Reaper-like at all since this all began yesterday. Lord Van Zieks isn't the Reaper, Mr. Naruhodo. Good point. The Reaper? I suppose in hindsight, I shouldn't have allowed that misconception to go unchallenged. Huh? It was my tacit acceptance of that pseudonym. What's up, XLR? My failure to stop the Reaper becoming something more than a mere legend that led to all this. You're not to blame for that, Lord Van Zieks. Well, because serious crime in the capital dropped out so sharply when the public started calling you that. That's why you didn't say anything, isn't it? To be frank, I'm not sure that was the sole reason. Oh, good luck, XLR, I believe in you. What do you mean? There was a rumor at the time that the Reaper was really the ghost of my late brother. That having been slain by that evil killer, Clint's restless spirit returned as some sort of demigod. Jeez. To wield a deadly blade of justice where I, by dint of the law, could not. Yes, we've heard that story too. When I lost him, I felt as though I'd lost my guiding light. I didn't know where to go or what to do. So, in some small way, I wonder perhaps those rumors made me feel his absence a little less keenly. You got this, XLR. Even if I knew it was just an illusion. Just some nonsense conjured up by an over-imaginative public. It was obviously extremely important to you. Or Clint Van Zieks. Well, what's important now is uncovering the truth. That's all that matters. I know that you didn't take anyone's life. And I intend to prove that beyond a shadow of a doubt in court today. Never thought I'd say this, but I can see it in your eyes. That burning desire to cut through all the lies and deception. I can't deny it any longer. You are a lawyer of an absolute integrity. Thank you. Wow. Those are some very kind words. Now tell me, why do I detect the scent of expensive tea leaves in the air? Oh, Iris, when did you get here? Oh. I brought one of my special blends. Hurley loves it. He says it helps him to clear his head. I thank you. Oh, hee hee. That's really the first and last time I'll ever see a sight like this. You seem different today, Iris. Oh. Sort of subdued, I suppose. I am not. What happened yesterday is obviously still playing on her mind a lot. She's clearly very troubled about having stolen that autopsy report from Dr. Sith's laboratory. Do we have that? We do. Alright then, good luck to you both. I have to make a move now. Oh, you're not staying? I thought you'd want to watch today's proceedings. Well, I'd like to cheer you on, obviously. But I've got lots to get ready. Get ready for what? Oh, yes. Would you take this? Isn't that one of the little felt dolls that's usually dangling from your knapsack? Yes, it's a lucky charm. A little Hurley that I made. A Hurley? Looks more like a Harley to me. Or Harley, like the bat, right, or the rabbit. If for some reason you completely run out of options in the trial today, then just pull this little Hurley's ear as hard as you possibly can. What? Pull his ears? That's right. It's a way to bring good luck. I think you might need it. Okay. Can't wait to see this is gonna play out. You think what we'll need is luck? I just need to peek inside the courtroom, and it seemed very different to normal. Yes, it would seem that a certain someone has decided to pull out all the stops. What does that mean? What about Mr. Sholmes, Iris? I don't know. He was out all night. He hadn't come home by the time I left this morning. Oh, I see. Was Professor Mikotoba out all night too, do you think, Miss Susato? Yes, it would seem so. I telegrammed the hotel this morning. And apparently they didn't come back to their rooms last night at all. They? Father and Judge Gyoko, I mean. Judge Gyoko, too. That's right. Nobody appears to have seen either of them since yesterday. Okay, that's weird. Court is about to be in session. Please make your way inside the courtroom at once. Good luck then, Runo. Good luck, Susie. Yes, thanks, Iris. And you, Mr. Reaper. I hope it goes well. Once again, I thank you for the delicious tea. It was very soothing. Oh, I'm so glad. You must go inside now, Lord Van Zieks. It's still too short on me, but whatever. Lord Van Zieks has always been the formative prosecutor I've had to lock horns with in court, but not today. Today, I battle with another in pursuit of the truth. My best friend, Kazuma Asogi, who I trust more than anyone else in the world. Now I understand what it was that drew me here to Britain all those months ago. Now I know exactly what destiny had in store for me. It's all been leading up to this one day, to this one trial, this one final reckoning. Judge? It was even more oppressive here than it did yesterday. Is Lord Strongheart going to be the judge today? There are cold stares piercing me like knives from all sides today. Ah, Mr. Naruhodo, look. Yup. Lord Strongheart? Kazuma must have known beforehand. The ramifications of this trial now extend far beyond the murder of one Scotland Yard inspector. In fact, events have come to light that threaten to rock the very foundations of our country's legal system. The escape of a condemned criminal on the night of his execution, subsequent unlawful shooting of the man, and the revelation that prison staff must have been complicit in the jailbreak. Britain is currently hosting influential members of the judiciary from countries all around the world. It is imperative that we uncover the truth in these proceedings to avoid international embarrassment. By royal decree, this will continue to be a closed trial, and one over which I, Emil Strongheart, exercise total and unequivocal authority. Oh my. The 6 jurors' flames just... As was the case in yesterday's proceedings, those here present in the public gallery are distinguished members of our judiciary assembled to bear witness to a fair judicial process. In other words, a collection of your acolytes, Lord Strongheart. Wow! On a personal note, I find this most distressing, Lord Van Zieks. You are a prosecutor of exceptional talent. Much like your brother Clint, in fact. Oh. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. For the trial of Beric Van Zieks, who officially stands accused of murder. What a song. Counsels for the prosecution and defense, are you in full readiness to proceed? Let's go. What up, Joanne? The defense is ready, my lord. As is the prosecution. Yesterday's proceedings brought to light a shocking and disturbing fact. There was a side to the victim, Inspector Tobias Gregson, that was unknown to his superiors at Scotland Yard. Yes, he was carrying out operations in secret, which Scotland Yard knew nothing about. In those clandestine operations, he had an accomplice, Mr. Daily Vigil, who would be given the inspector's identification. Present himself around the capital in order to establish credible alibis for Gregson. In that way, Gregson appeared to be carrying out his regular Scotland Yard work, where in fact he wasn't. At the end of yesterday's session, Mr. Vigil, who had been suffering from amnesia, regained his memory. It appeared he buried his memories at the time deep inside himself as a means of self-preservation. Because whilst he was engaged as chief warder at Barclay Prison, he abetted the convict's escape. Mr. Vigil is currently recuperating at St. Sinners. He's recovered enough to give a signed statement about his movements on the day prior to the incident. He's formally admitted to opposing his Gregson whilst investigating the Red-Headed League, brings us to the crucial issue of the victim's time of death. The defense yesterday proposed a suggestion that the victim may have been killed one day earlier. This was based largely on the discovery that the victim's pocket watch had not been wound. The prosecution has something to report on that subject, my lord. Really? Go ahead, Prosecutor Sogi. I met once again with the coroner yesterday to discuss the issue. She confirmed that the defense's suggestion could not be ruled out. It's entirely possible that Inspector Gregson was killed on October 31st, the day before his body was discovered. I even updated autopsy report that includes the amended details. Must resist to show the video on stream. But the official opinion of the investigation team was made clear yesterday, that the time of death was 5 p.m. on 1st of November. There are indications of an attempt to disguise the real time of death, however. It seems that the natural decaying process of the victim's body may have been slowed by keeping it chilled. That's out of the question. There are no refrigeration devices in that part of London large enough to accommodate a human corpse. My lord, it's more than just conjecture. There's evidence to support the idea. We must investigate it thoroughly. Very well. The court will accept the new report as evidence. However, if this updated report is deemed to be accurate, it would give renewed significance to the movements of the victim on the day before the Fresno Street incident. It would, yes, especially since on that day, Inspector Gregson was using Mr. Vigil to cover up his real movements. Conceivable that he was killed in the course of his secret activities. I sense that the prosecution has some information regarding those activities. Scotland Yard put in an enormous effort into investigating the precise matter yesterday. I think we should begin by presenting the results of that investigation work. So the prosecution calls its first witness now, Gina Lestrade. Say your name and occupation for the court. Inspector Gina Lestrade reporting. Representative of Scotland Yard. A self-conferred rank, but never mind. Gina? Again? What's your problem, Odo? What's with that Gina again look, eh? The boss meant the world to me. He done more for me than anyone else ever did. Oh, Inspector Gregson, you mean? He got me out of the back slums of the East End and took me under his wing. Taught me that life can have a purpose. So that's why I'm the best person to be standing here speaking for him. Oh, Gina. Right, all out of the goodness of Gregson's heart. Not at all that he had his arm twisted by Mr. Sholmes, no. What's relevant to these proceedings is that the outcome of Scotland Yard's investigations yesterday has revealed that the victim was carrying out some assignment the police knew nothing about. Very troubling. Face. Lord Strongheart knew. So, Inspector Lestrade, let's hear exactly what it said in that report. Coming right up, sir. All Yard detectives are supposed to follow orders and investigate what they're told. But a little search of the boss's office turned up a notebook to add a load of secret meetings in it. Or into that, the boss was looking into some smuggled good dealings that day. It was a big job and all, but the coppers weren't onto it yet. What matters most is there's witnesses who saw the Reaper at the place too. Smuggled goods? I don't know, do I? I'm just telling you what was written in the book. Tobacco, tea, spices, medicines, goods of all sorts flow into London by illegal channels from across the globe. Well known that they're disposed of at regular black markets that take place in the capital. But the police are rarely able to locate them in time. Inspector Gregson was investigating one of those black markets and suggested that high-ranking government officials may be involved in black market activity. No doubt Gregson was trying to avoid details of his investigations being leaked to the involved parties. That would explain why he was operating on his own authority without the Yard's knowledge. And do we know where the dealings were taking place this time? A particular room of a certain exclusive London gentleman's club. Now the day in question, the accused is known to have been there. That's the conclusion of Scotland Yard's investigation into the matter. That can't be. Members of the club have testified to it. There's no question the accused, Beric Van Zieks, was present. That would be very significant testimony then. Oh my, but... Lord Van Zieks has made no mention of this at all. In short, Lord Van Zieks had ample opportunity to murder the victim. Very well then. Counsel for the defense, begin your cross-examination. Jeepers. What up, S-Grunt? Badge.
Hold it!
So you follow orders, DG? Nah, not me. I'm above all that, see? Oh. Boss always had special orders for me. Grab us some fish and chips, or go give Toby his grub, that kind of thing. So errands more than orders. The detective is still an apprentice after all. Yeah, well, this apprentice ain't one to sit around and wait to be told what to do even by the boss. Well, I've been doing my own investigations into what happened. I didn't find much at first.
Hold it!
He went through Inspector Gregson's things. Yup, as part of the independent Lestrade investigation. I'm sure your superiors would be delighted that you're taking the initiative. So I snuck into his office when no one else was about. Suppose if anyone at the yard seen me going in there, they'd have turfed me straight out onto the street. It's sounding less and less like an investigation and more like something else. The prosecution understands that it was this very detective who discovered the notebook. You got that right. Nothing gets past Inspector Lestrade and her trusty assistant Chief Inspector Toby. We found a hit in one of his desk drawers that had a false bottom. That's impressive. Then I went to hide myself where no one could find me, and so I could have a butcher's at what was written in it. Because if anyone in the yard found me out, they'd tough me right out on the street. Huh. Giving it in now, haven't I? And if it weren't for me, it wouldn't have ever been found.
Hold it!
You have any idea where those dealings were taking place? Yep. It was all in the boss's notes. Let's see if I can remember. I already said the illegal dealings were due to take place at a gentleman's club. Yes, I remember, but I was hoping to find out the name of the club. That won't be necessary. What? It's conceivable that the club might be used again by the smugglers in the future. Therefore, prosecution was asked not to reveal the name of these proceedings. I don't know what all the fuss is about. It's right here. All I've got to do is read it out. And I could too. I've got this reading game buttoned up now. Can I show you what I can do? Come on, what's the harm? Judge hasn't signaled his objection yet. I could try to find out. What should I do? Let's insist. This is a closed court. The proceedings are confidential. There shouldn't be any possibility of the information being leaked. As I explained, there is some possibility of politicians being involved in this affair. The prosecution is rightfully exercising caution, I imagine. No, my lord. The prosecution has no objection. Cosma? There's no question that Inspector Gregson was looking into these black market dealings. However, it has been established that he was on that particular trail on the day in question. The defense requires to know the club's name. The prosecution has no intention of being obstructive. See, okay, this is why I think Cosma needed someone like us in the defense stand, because there are certain things that he can do or won't be allowed to do because of his station, but he is able to push proceedings in a particular direction. But because the defense is not obstructed by the prosecutor's office, this can get out there. Right then, I get to show off my reading skills. Gonna smuggle goods were gonna happen at a gentleman's club called the Grouse.
Hold it!
The Grouse. The Grouse. What sort of a club is that? I ain't got the foggiest. Clubs ain't exactly my thing, but I am kind of curious. They're not places where a foreign student like you would be readily admitted. Have you looked in the mirror recently? Tell you what, me and the chief inspector told me could get another cover. Could you though? I could pick out a few good marks and see what else I could find out while I was in there. I really don't think you should go picking out anything. Anyway, that's where these black market dealings are going to take place, is it? Yeah, it's gotta be. That's what the lower ranking detectives of the yard reckon. It says even lower ranking detective.
Hold it!
So how did Inspector Gregson come to find out about it in that case? That's the question, ain't it? I'm just an apprentice, so. And why didn't he inform Scotland Yard of his findings? Yeah, that's what I was asking myself, because, you know, I'm just an apprentice. But it suits you, yes. Anyway, the point is, something went on in that club, no question. You can't say that for certain, though, surely.
Hold it!
Lord Van Zieks was at the club. He was. Detectives who visited the club yesterday to make inquiries have confirmed it. Several members report having seen the accused being admitted to the room in question as a guest. That there's no disputing that he was there then. We know that Lord Van Zieks was investigating Inspector Gregson, don't we? Has he already discovered the inspector's secret notebook? What's under the club, you mean? Maybe. Presumably, then, there are also eyewitnesses who can testify that Gregson was there? None have been identified at this time, no. The all-important victim wasn't seen at this mysterious club. Boy, why you ask Inspector Lestrade here, eh? That's all I've got to work with. Gina's not holding back with that ice cold stare of hers, is she? They don't know what to make of all this. Lord Van Zieks told us that he was investigating Inspector Gregson. We never once mentioned that he met the inspector the day before the incident. The only Lord Van Zieks could have been lying to us, do you? That's not the only way to explain this. Oh? If everything Lord Van Zieks has told us is true, then there must be a mistake in this testimony somewhere. You mean, are details we've got to uncover? Exactly. A clue, perhaps, that even Gina hasn't noticed. That's what we should be looking for here. Oops. Let's see what this identification looks like. Skyline Instantly looks genuine to me, and the department and identification number details are all correct as well. There's no doubt that this really is Inspector Gregson's identification. A clue that even Gina has not noticed yet. All right.
Hold it!
Let's see. What are we? What is this again? So we know it's called the grouse. Looks like I can't really do much there. Is it the passport? We have this. Huge gash. It's gone right through the leather and into the metal behind. Gosh, no chest like this dimension badly damaged. Whatever made the gash must have struck the side of the trunk with considerable force. Wonder how it happened. Let's see him looking sign. See that, there's something stuck at the side of the trunk here. It's glinting. A fragment of metal. It's wedged so tightly, I can't remove it. Well, don't cut yourself. Better leave it, I think. What's up, BP? How you doing? Oh, there's something inside. Oh, let's see. It appears to be a passport. I authorize you to travel overseas. If we're about to go on a trip abroad, then perhaps the date of departure might tell us something. That was... Oh, what is it? It was for travel on the 31st of October, just one day before the incident. What? Really? Gregson went to France the day before his body was discovered?
Hold it!
Oh, I'm doing alright. I'm doing alright. Curious to see how this is all going to play out. My badge. Badge. I got my badge right here. See, guys, I am. Look at me. I'm official. Official. Let's see. All I gotta work with. Lord Van Zeeks told us he was investigating Inspector Gregson, but he never once mentioned that he met the inspector the day before the incident. I don't think Lord Van Zeeks been lying. That's not the other way to explain this. If everything Lord Van Zeeks has told us is true, there must be a mistake in this testimony somewhere. Detail exactly. A clue. A clue that doesn't exist.
Hold it!
Oh yeah, no, I did, Joanne. Yeah, I'm in the Phoenix. I just don't have the wig on because it's itchy. I might wear it when I feel like I'm gonna finish the game, but right now I'm just gonna wear the suit. Let's see here.
Hold it! Hold it!
I think it's gotta be the passport.
Hold it!
I think it's the passport. Because if this deal is gonna happen at a gentleman's club,
Hold it!
then while he was, or as he was at the club, he was. Let's see. Maybe I discovered the inspector. In the club, presumably that there were also white witnesses. A good test of aggression was there. No. I think it's the passport because if he wasn't there, let's see. But they not much even met the inspector the day before the incident. I'm thinking it's the passport. I think it's the passport, and it's for this statement. Because, and my logic is, Gina says what matters the most is there's witnesses that saw the Reaper at the place too, suggesting that the statement is also saying that Gregson was there. And this passport, issued the day before his body was discovered, on October 31st, I think it says.
Objection!
It is not that. Okay. Not one that any British court would recognize, counsel. What? Whatever fate befalls you and your no one outside will ever know. Oh my gosh. Spooky. Let's see. It's kind of hard when I can't see the notebook itself. Oh, what is this? I didn't see this before. Look at this dark stain here. Do you think? Yes, I'm afraid so. I think it's blood. Ugh, I knew you were going to say that. That presumably means that this was present at the scene after Gregson was killed. It's the most logical conclusion, yes. I think Gina's been carrying this around with her. You didn't know any better. I suppose it does look like a grease stain from all the fish and chips. There's blood on it. There's this. Let's see. Apparently the smuggled goods is gonna happen at a gentleman's club called the... This was found 1 week, so he was going to be in France.
Objection!
It's not the passport? Ten more mistakes and I have to get this up to chat. Okay, this is getting... Clue that Gina hasn't considered. That's what the thing said. So that's all I've got to work with. Here's how I'm at that cold stare. I really don't know what to make of all this. Lord Van Zeek told us that he was investigating Inspector Gregson. He never mentioned that he met the inspector the day before the incident. You don't think Lord Van Zeek could have been lying? That's not the only way to explain this. Everything Lord Van Zeek told us is true, and there must be a mistake in this testimony somewhere. Details we've had to uncover. Exactly. A clue that even Gina hasn't noticed.
Hold it!
The grouse. We got the name figured out, so that's why I feel like it's this statement. It's either gotta be the third statement or this statement.
Hold it!
Let's see. Am I overlooking something? None have been identified this time, no. The all-important victim wasn't seen as mysterious. Van Zeeks was seen there. Something wrong with the name Grouse? Oh my gosh. It's not a gentleman's club, it's a ship. I see. That's a tricky one. How strange work could it have gone? You like this? I forgot about that line. Not a gentleman's club.
Objection!
There we go. I've read about these clubs that exist here in Britain. I understand it. There are places where well-to-do gentlemen socialize with friends and colleagues. I imagine for a second that a foreign student like you could be admitted. Seriously, is your mirror cracked or something? We know for sure that the contraband dealings were definitely happening at a club called the Grouse. The police are currently looking for evidence, but haven't found anything definitive yet. And I'm sorry to say that they probably won't. What do you mean by that? I mean, at the place Inspector Gregson was secretly going to visit on October 31st, may not have been a gentleman's club at all. You're showing a very irreverent attitude towards our country's police force there, Counsel. If it wasn't a gentleman's club, then what was it? A steamship. You think it's a ship? I have the evidence to prove it. Here. Let me see that. This dark city young man is not in the least bit untrustworthy. The other side, my lord? Be more specific next time. Ah, this would appear to be a ticket for passage upon a steamship. Yes. Yes, it's grouse.
Objection!
There's a steamship named the Grouse. That happens to share a name with the club. But I'm afraid to say, there's a flaw in your logic there. How? Look at the ticket. Notice the date of arrival in port. Ship arrived at the port of Dover on the 1st of November. Ah. The day on which a sound like a gunshot was heard on Fresno Street. In other words, on the day in question here, 31st of October, when the victim was on his clandestine mission, that ship had docked on the British shores. That would certainly make an undercover investigation somewhat challenging.
Objection!
The fact that the steamship hadn't yet reached Britain substantiates the defense's assertion that the victim was investigating the SS Grouse on the day in question. And show you evidence for that assertion. Very well. In that case, counsel for the defense, present your evidence to the court now. Evidence that substantiates your claim that the victim was investigating the SS Grouse on the 31st of October. That's where the passport comes.
Take that!
What's this? A passport for travel issued to the victim. Dated 31st of October. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting that just one day before the inspector's body was discovered, there's a distinct possibility he wasn't even in the country. Order. This document is for passage to France. It does appear to have been officially authorized. The day before the SS Grouse arrived at Dover, it docked on the northern coast of France for a night. According to my father, was on board at the port of Dunkirk. Dunkirk, France. What could possibly have taken the victim there? Ha ha ha! I'm impressed, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I certainly didn't expect you to get your hands on that passport. What? You mean you knew about this? Prosecution strategy for the trial has been laid down by the Crown Prosecution Office. On the day before the incident, the victim was investigating contraband dealings at a London club. That's the outcome of Scotland Yard's investigations and the line that the prosecution's been asked to follow. But personally, I don't agree. I think the prosecutor's office is trying to hide something. What? Now that you've actually disproven their assertion, I intend to reveal what I believe that something to be. What are you playing at, Prosecutor Sogi? The courtroom is a forum for the truth, my lord. That's why it's my duty to present all the facts, without exception. Let me guess. This was your intention from the outset, wasn't it? The reason Inspector Gregson secretly made his way to the steamship docked in France on the day in question was to carry out a mission for the Reaper. The Reaper? Order. What are you saying, counsel? Prosecution made an assertion in court yesterday. Inspector Gregson was investigating the identity of the Reaper. When he discovered the location of the man's secret hideout, he was killed, as I'm sure everyone can imagine, by the Reaper's hand. In reality, the truth is the opposite of that. What? Inspector Gregson wasn't investigating the Reaper at all. He was, in fact, acting for the Reaper. So, you're saying the mission he was undertaking was, obviously, an assassination. Barrett Van Zeeks never carried out any of the actual killings. Whenever the Reaper's victims lost their lives, he always had a cast iron alibi, which tells us that he must have had an accomplice. You claim that was Inspector Gregson. What the hell you think you're saying? My boss would never have done nothing like that. And yet, when you consider all the facts, it all makes perfect sense. No, it can't be. We also arrived at the same conclusion, didn't we? That Inspector Gregson was operating as the Reaper. Even so, there's no way that the person giving him his orders was Lord Van Zeeks. No, the true Reaper is somebody else. Barrett Van Zieks is not the Reaper. A predictable response from someone who's advocating for the man. Even if it's true that Gregson was operating as an agent of the Reaper, the suggestion that he went abroad the Essos Grouse on an assassination mission doesn't follow at all. Oh, do you have some solid reason for doubting the assertion, do you, Counsel? Absolutely, it's very simple. On the day in question, nobody was killed aboard that steamship. Mikoto and Jojioku were on that very ship. Somebody had been assassinated. I'm certain we would have heard about it. What's so funny? You're right, of course. No suspicious deaths were reported on board the ship. But I think perhaps you've missed the point. That's precisely why Inspector Gregson must have lost his life. What? Gregson did board the Essos Grouse that night with the intention of dispatching his mark. But his mission ended in failure. Failure? It seems that the defense hasn't yet grasped a very important detail here. What are you talking about? What detail? Inspector Gino Lestrade? What? The victim's notebook that you read an excerpt from earlier, it doesn't contain details of secret investigations at all. It describes 10 years of assassination plots to be carried out by the Reaper of the Bailey. You're lying, even if all the bludgers got taken out at it coming. The boss weren't the Reaper. Poor Gina. There's no question that Tobias Gregson was heavily involved in the Reaper's activities. He may just be an apprentice, but if you spent any time at Scotland Yard, you must have heard rumors. I ain't heard nothing. I don't believe a word of it. And testify again as that representative of Scotland Yard. Consider it your chance to defend your boss. I concur. The witness will give a new formal testimony. Miss Lestrade, you will tell the court everything you know about Inspector Gregson's secret notebook. Yeah, this notebook does have a load of stuff about what the Reaper got up to these past 10 years. Names of victims, dates and places and stuff, and the last entry in there was 31st October. It said grouse with the place on the date, and then the name of the mark. There was a note about him being a criminal who got away from the Reaper in court 10 years ago or something. But honest, boss didn't do none of it. He was just investigating the Reaper, that's all. Was he trying to assassinate Judge Gyoku? Keep personal by pointing out your testimony witness. We require only established fact here. Must be so hard for her. You can't deny it now, surely, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. What can't I deny? Notebook contained the name of the final mark and the location where the assassination would take place. That's information that the victim could only have known he was working with the Reaper. Ah. So who was to be this final mark? Go ahead, Inspector Lestrade. Read the name for the court. Judge Ibis Gyoku. Name is written alongside the entry that mentions the grouse on 31st of October. Eh? Oh, how do you read this then? Reading Sonara's strong suit. Ain't the problem, alright, Odo? It's Japanese. It's a funny name. It ain't English. It's hard to read. Somebody from overseas. We have a batch at it. Shashiro. Is it? Yeah, Sashiro. Jigokyu. Maybe? What? It can't be. Sashiro Gyoku? Jigoku? That's Judge Jigoku. Sashiro Gyoku. Certainly not an English name, you're right. That can't be right. I know Judge Gyoku. I saw him the day before here in London. I know for a fact the man hasn't been assassinated. As I said, the Reaper failed. Oh. Gregson missed his chance to kill his mark and return to British shores. The Reaper wouldn't tolerate the mistake. He killed the inspector, personally. The Reaper, of course, being the accused, Barrett Van Zieks. It's an undeniably logical argument. Kazuma, you planned for the trial to go this way all along, didn't you? Oh my. How'd you get this? Oh. Pray forgive the discourtesy of filling my hollow child's walls I stand accused of murder. Lord Van Zieks. The accused has no right to speak uninvited in court. You will return to the dock. I say nothing of whether or not I'm the Reaper. That's the task of this court to decide. There's one thing I can say unequivocally. That That girl is no detective. Eh, what? That's right, I ain't. I'm an inspector. Repeating rumors heard around the yard. Reading entries from a notebook of unconfirmed origin. That's not testimony. It's practically a script. No doubt the rest of this trial will go exactly as you clearly planned. Your hatred of me is understandable. And you are mine. I'm sure I am the Reaper who sent your father to the gallows all those years ago. But you are in danger of becoming a far more sinister Reaper yourself by attempting to have me condemned with this feeble excuse for testimony. What did you say? Mr. Naruhodo, this is our chance. My lord, the defense requests the defendant be allowed to speak. He may be privy to important information related to the testimony given by the witness. Very well, I'll make an exception and grant the request. The defendant may remain in the witness stand for the cross-examination. Then allow me to toast the court's impartiality. Don't raise a glass in my direction, sir. Counsel for the defense, begin the cross-examination immediately. At once, my lord. Man, this is crazy.
Hold it!
In other words, it shows that Gregson was basically acting as the Reaper. Not you at all? That ain't the only explanation, is it? He could have been investigating the Reaper in secret, and the notebook said what he found out. If I may, when originally people began referring to me as the Reaper, I didn't object. I believe the power to intimidate London's criminal classes into compliance with the law to be beneficial. You carried out your own investigation into the true identity of the Reaper, didn't you? Yes, and those investigations proved conclusively that Gregson was one arm of the Reaper. One arm? What are you on about? The Reaper's victims were all extremely shrewd criminals at the top of their game. There's simply no way one person could have taken them on alone. The Reaper is an organization with you at its head. I had spies at the yard keeping me abreast of Gregson's movements, letting me know when he was elsewhere. I've been able to check the most recent entry in his book. I knew the location. You knew it said Grouse? Believing it to be a reference to the Gentleman's Club, I went there on the day in question to investigate, alone. That explains why several members of the club claimed to have seen you there. But of course, the inspector was not there. Because at the time he was making his way to the steamship docked on the northern coast of France. As shown by the passport here found in the victim's metal trunk. Very well then, back to your testimony about the contents of this notebook. Fine. You're wrong, Mr. Naruhodo. You seem a little shocked by something a moment ago. Oh no, it's alright. I'm overthinking this, aren't I?
Hold it!
Names of victims, dates, places, and stuff. What in the particular? Well, beside the victims' names, his other name kept cropping up. Asa Shin. What other name was that? It's the one I told you yesterday. The same name written over and over again. You mean Asa Shin? That's the one. She's a friend of yours or something, isn't she? Were you even listening yesterday? Asa, I don't know if it's Asa or Assad. The assassin. Oh. What, like assassin? Ah, assassin. Gregson was a tactician. When he came up with a plan of attack, he investigated the marks thoroughly, finding out when they would be vulnerable and who to use to get at them. But the person to actually execute his plan was someone else, you're saying? If that's true, then the Reaper does indeed start to sound like an organized group of vigilantes. That's what is said on the passport document. Permission for the applicant and one additional person to travel. The additional person had been clearly the assassin who was meant to take Seshiro Goku's life. Gina, can you confirm that? Against the final entry that listed Grouse and Seshiro Jigoku, what name was written? Oh, well, that's the only entry that didn't have a name next to it as it happens. What? It just added like a question mark or something there, I think. In other words, Gregson himself didn't know the identity of the assassin in that case. But Gregson was the one making the plans. Was he not? Oh, how infuriating. A nameless assassin? Gosh, what if Giselle Brett's just actually alive? It did seem weird for her name to be Assassin. I did not connect that it was assassin. I feel kind of stupid about that. One of those little details hidden in plain sight, I suppose. You say that the mark was Seshiro Jigoku. That's what it said. Funny name, if you ask me. I thought your name was odd. So pleased to have lost my crown there. Mr. Jigoku is the presiding judge of Japan's Supreme Court of Judicature. I remember the man. He came to our country as a visiting student 16 years ago, studying international law and diplomacy under your tutelage, Lord Strongheart. That bearded young fellow was a very able man, I must say. Lord Strongheart was Judge Gyoku's mentor. If I'm not mistaken, he returned to Japan 10 years ago now. Makes sense why they both hit the gavel in their hand. I like that detail. 10 years ago, after the fateful case. Precisely. In the aftermath of the professor case, his repatriation was organized immediately. It's a mystery why such a man would be listed in the inspector's notebook. I don't think it was possible. Mooney has gotten even worse now. Maybe I'll just keep talking.
Hold it!
What do you mean a criminal? Judge Gyoku is no criminal. Don't ask me, I don't know nothing about it. I know he said some stuff and got like thing, but he got acquitted. Remember what Father told us? That Judge Gyoku did once appear in court here in Britain. It was related to the professor case, I'm sure. Yes, of course, you're right. Trying to mitigate the catcher's guilt, so he took to the stand to testify. But he got a little carried away and actually managed to break the witness stand. Also said some contemptuous words about the British Empire, for which he was charged. It was a pitiful situation, yes? I've forgotten all about it, but I prosecuted that trial too, as it happens. You did? It was considered to be an adjunct to the professor proceedings, you see. He was acquitted after being told to make reparation for the damage caused to the stand. And there you have it. Have what? Surely the accused hasn't forgotten his own rule. There's no saving anyone who faces the Reaper in court, guilty or innocent alike. What? No! Are you suggesting that the reason Judge Gyoku was targeted for assassination? The man was sent back to Japan immediately after that trial. The Reaper had no time to do his work. But then, 10 years later, the mark returns to Britain once more. Perhaps now you start to see just how vindicative the Reaper is. Come on, that's absurd. To take someone's life for that? Isn't the whole premise of the Reaper absurd? Killing those who have been found innocent? Clearly the rules by which the man operates are beyond a sane person's comprehension. But... Right, just about enough of this, Gina. All this nonsense about the boss plan to kill people. It's cobblers. Come on, Odo. Yes? Why ain't you saying nothing? Why? Why ain't you yelling out objection or something? What? You gotta find a flaw. You do usually. Someone's flying here. No question. You gotta work out who it is. Please, for the boss. That outburst was an insult to the court and to your own testimony. I might have known that a common pickpocket from the back slums couldn't make a detective. When this trial is over, you will forfeit your warrant card, Miss Lestrade. Is that clear? I've had it with a lot of you. It lies every bleeding place you took in this world, isn't it? Well, I've had enough. Gina. So have I. After that little speech of Gina's, I've made up my mind. To do what, Mr. Naruhodo? There's one point in this cross-examination when something that was said just didn't sit right with me. One statement that seemed odd. Do you mean... I'm not going to let Gina's plea for help fall on deaf ears.
Hold it!
I want to thank you, Gina. You helped me find my resolve. Eh? What do you mean? Amongst everything we've heard during this cross-examination, there's one thing that defies explanation. One inconsistency. What? An inconsistency? Really, Odo? I don't quite know what it means yet, but yes, there's an inconsistency in something that was said by... Oh, I don't know. No! Let me go back! Can I go through history? How far back can I go? No, I can't answer this. I can't go back. I guess I just have to take a blunder.
Take that!
Just gonna take the blunder. Oh, they didn't take a blunder. I didn't have to take a blunder, thank goodness. A blunder is only defined when I lose one of my 5 things. I mean, it was a Lord Van Zeke's in the sand too, yes. Perhaps. I'm sure Gina knows nothing she hasn't already told us. No point trying to get more out of her. You notice how Cosmo-sama reacted to Lord Van Zeke's words? May call them an even more sinister Reaper, you mean? Well, I'm sure Cosmo intends to eliminate any shred of doubt that the man is guilty. Give revenge against the person he considers to be his father's killer, after all. Be worried that if we fail to find a discrepancy in this testimony somewhere, the trial may end, and adjudication won't go in our favor. Let's listen carefully to what everybody is saying.
Hold it!
Originally began referring to me as Reaper. I didn't object. I believe that the power to intimidate London's criminal classes in compliance with the law to be beneficial. Yes. Those investigations proved conclusively that Gregson was one arm of the Reaper. Extremely true was the top of their game. And only one person could have taken Reaper's organization. Wait a second. He was already on the ship.
it!
I think it might be what Kazuma said. I think it's the idea with US head. The most you knew it was said grouse. Maybe to be reference to the Gentleman's Club. That would explain that, but of course his director was not there. At the time he was making his way to the steamship dock on the northern coast of France. Kazuma said that Inspector Gregson was not at the Grouse Club because at the time he was making his way to the steamship dock on the northern coast of France, as shown by the passport found in the victim's metal trunk. This is making me feel like that this is really hinting to me that this is the problem.
Hold it!
Power, okay. Excuse me. Gregson was one arm of the Reaper. And as an organization, there's no way one person could have taken them on. The Reaper's an organization. Spies at the yard keeping me abreast of Gregson's movements, let me know where when he was elsewhere. Oh, I see. Okay, you knew it's a grouse. Going to be the reference to the Gentleman's Club. I went there to investigate alone. And that would explain why that happened. Of course, he was not there because at the time he was making his way to the steamship docked on the northern coast of France. Call at Dunkirk on the north coast of France for a night. As shown by the passport found in the victim's metal trunk. There's blood, there's the passport. see. As shown by the passport found in the victim's metal trunk. Passport was found in his metal trunk. There's a gash and a little thing. Let's see, what evidence might we have? This pocket watch, the glass of the face really is badly cracked. Look. What a shame when the inspector clearly looked after it so carefully. I imagine Mr. Soames could repair it, don't you? Guess I should think so. He's very adept at things like this. A useful man to have around. In fact, alright, he's a great detective, Mr. Naruto. No, not a job, man. For the little policeman figurine Skigo's in the one to watch, winding it up every single day for 10 years without fail. Obviously a thing of great importance to the inspector. Reminder of the past, lest he forgets. He was embarking on this. It stopped at 5 o'clock. Well, let's think about this. What could be related to this one in terms of evidence? Wouldn't it be? I don't think it would be the steamship tickets. No, 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 no. Let's see. Autopsy report. So we know that the time of death is indeterminate. That maybe that the victim was shot in the chest at close range from the front. Scorch marks of point of entry. Bullet exited the body from behind. So maybe it's something to be related for the autopsy report. always wondered what the underside of a hairpiece looks like. It doesn't surprise me at all, Mr. Naruto. You always want to see what lies beneath, don't you? That's quite how I'd put it. You must have to use it lots of... It doesn't give one of the guess of what I mean. That might be a little inconvenient when you wanted to take it off again, don't you think? Presumably it belonged to Inspector Gregson. Well, you know that it wasn't Gregson there. I want to look at all this stuff again. Okay, let's go through all this. And you're saying that the markerless suit says sure. That's what it said. Man, this is tough. This is very tough. Moving is just getting worse.
Hold it!
We know Van Zeeks is here. I'm either feeling like
Hold it!
the fact that Naruhodo got caught on the first one makes me think that's what it was. This is tough, guys. This is very tough. Let's see. We have the whole, like, one train of thought is that the Reaper doesn't kill everyone. Like, that's my first thought. Like, one theory I have is, like, Kazuma said the Reaper kills everyone who's acquitted, innocent or not. But there are examples of people who are innocent and not dead. Can I? There's that.
Hold it!
There's that idea, and then there's something. This seems really weird. At the time, he was making his way to the steamship docked on the northern coast of France. As shown by the passport in front of the victim's metal trunk. What does his passport reveal? Date of departure. Within 1 week from October 31st. Destination, Port of Dunkirk, France. Permission for the applicant and one additional person to travel. Destination, Port of Dunkirk. Like, I'm having a hard time. He was making his way. He was making his way.
Hold it!
I want to thank you, Gina.
Take that!
By you, Kazuma. Me? There's some attempt at filibustering counsel. Prosecutor Sogi has given no testimony. What are you suggesting I said that was inconsistent? Let something slip that you shouldn't have. When I present the relevant piece of evidence, I imagine you realize what you've done. Very well then, counsel, go ahead. What evidence reveals this alleged inconsistency in something Prosecutor Sogi said? Okay. He was making his way to the steamship in Dunkirk. It has to be the passport, right? Destination is the destination is the port of Dunkirk. Okay, let's think very carefully about this. It's not going to be this. It's not going to be this. I don't believe the back has anything to say. Oh, it looks like it's some sort of steam. Yokohama departure. Ah, that's the boat. I think it called at Dunkirk at the north coast of France for a night. So it was docked in Dunkirk for a night. Unless I'm missing something with this. No, no, no. No, no. 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 I don't think it's anything to do with this yet. No, 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 no. Doubtful. He's making his way to Dunkirk. Is it the trunk? How do we know that the trunk was there? Is that what the idea is? Something's very okay, because at the time he was making his way to the steamship docked at the northern coast of France, as shown by the passport found in the victim's metal trunk. I feel like it's like I feel like I'm having a hard time. I feel like it's something with the way that it was worded, and I'm not exactly sure what the evidence is. I feel like it's either the trunk or the passport, or maybe the letter of introduction. I'm pretty sure those are my three pieces of evidence to look at. Because this is just as I mean, unless it's the pocket watch, no. The only way it would be the pocket watch is no, I would always say 5 o'clock. Don't think it's the pocket. I mean, it could be, unless let's see, the alleged inconsistency. What is it? I'm pretty sure, because I can't select people. Okay, I'm pretty sure. Because at the time, he was making his way to the steamship docked on the northern coast of France, as shown by the passport found in the victim's metal trunk. Date of departure. Is it because it's the date of departure within 1 week from October 31st? Okay, my gut is saying what does it mean for a ship to be called? I'm gonna look up. I don't know what this means. What does it mean when a ship is called? It demonstrates graphically how visitors to ships can avoid the risk involved with any visit to a ship in port. So it's like a visit to the port. arrested on October 31st. Am I missing something with this trunk? It was for travel on October 31st, just one day before the incident. What, really? Gregson went to France the day before. I think it's the past. Okay, I'm gonna go with my gut.
Take that!
Crap. Dang, that's brutal. Oh, shoot. If we attended to point out, Mr. Naruto, was when Kazuma said... Yes, that's correct. That's exactly what I was thinking. Alright, let me think about this. I feel like if it's not the passport, and I feel like it wouldn't be the letter of introduction again, the whole like it docked at Dunkirk for the night. Is it the trunk? I feel like it's got to be the trunk or the watch. He was okay. So let me read this again. Let's see. Because at the time he was making his way. Because at the time he was making his way to the steam. Because at the time he was making his way to the steamship docked to the northern coast of France, as shown by the passport found in the victim's metal trunk. This is a trunk that belonged to Inspector Gregson. Metal construction, is it? It's certainly very heavy. What's this? A bloodstain? And a relatively fresh one, too. Well, you mean that ain't grease from all the boss's fish and chips? Fresh blood on the inspector's trunk? That suggests that the victim was traveling with that luggage when he was killed. That can't be. There was no mention of any trunk in Scotland Yard's report. Yes, there's a reason for that. Immediately after the inspector's body was discovered, one of the street peddlers made off with the trunk, hoping to sell it. Well, I found it. Me, with me nose for trouble. Means that nobody should have known anything about the trunk. Unless, of course, we're talking about somebody who was present when the victim was killed. And yet, during the cross-examination of the witness just now, you said this, Kazuma. The question is, how did you know about the inspector's trunk? No way. You know the man went on a trip to France. Where else would he have put his
Objection.
passport? You knew it was a metal trunk. Did Kazuma meet / kill Gregson? No way. Answer me honestly, Kazuma. On the 31st of October, where exactly were you? At the port of Dunkirk, on board the SS Grouse. Is that the answer you're looking for, Ryunosuke? Kazuma, what did you? I didn't consider the possibility before, but Kazuma was there on the ship, then it can only have been for one purpose. No, Mr. Naruhodo, surely you don't think. Ha ha ha, come on, Ryunosuke, you know the rules. The only thing that really talks in the courtroom is hard evidence. As I understand it, Inspector Gregson always took that case with him when he traveled. So as it stands, you've proved nothing. Kazuma, are you challenging me to prove it beyond all reasonable doubt that you were there that day in the same place as the inspector? He was there with Gregson? There's a clue that you overlooked, a secret that Trunk can tell us. Can't be sure at this point. I'll need to verify it, but I have a nasty feeling I'm going to be right. That chip is from his sword? Oh my gosh, what? That's why there's a slash mark on his case. I never considered it would be part of a sword. Oh my gosh, no way. I did not see this coming. No wonder I had a hard time. There's a small piece of metal lodged in the wall of the trunk here, like the tip of a blade. Eh? A blade? Kazuma, slung around your waist as ever today, is the esteemed blade Karuma. Of course it is. Won't you draw it here in this courtroom for all to see? Exercise caution, my learned friend. That man is the son of London's most notorious killer. Bailiff, watch Prosecutor Sogi like a cock. That won't be necessary. Oh no. The tip is broken. If the fragment of metal from the trunk fits together with the end of the sword, the question of who was there with Inspector Gregson will be answered. Agreed, Kazuma Sogi? Expertly done, Ryunosuke. That's a point to you, and well deserved. I mean to tell the court, Prosecutor Sogi. Yes, on 31st of October, I accompanied Inspector Gregson to Dunkirk in order to carry out a mission. The additional person authorized to travel was me. And the mission was the assassination of the Mark. What? You were gonna kill Judge Gyoku? Do you mean you're the killer whose name was omitted from this notebook? You were following the Reaper's orders to dispatch Judge Gyoku. Let me make one thing perfectly clear. I have killed no one. Explain. I accepted the assassination mission, yes, and I accompanied Gregson to Dunkirk, but I never had any intention of carrying out the plan. You were never going to do it. We can believe Kazuma-sama, I'm sure. After all, Judge Gyoku arrived safely in London the following day. On the 31st, I boarded a train from London with Inspector Gregson. Traveled to Dover from where we crossed the channel to Dunkirk. When we boarded the SS Grouse and made for the cabin deck as indicated in the plan. He went to Judge Gyoku's cabin. Exactly. He wasn't there though. We decided to wait, but Mara told us he had no intention of going through with it anyway. I didn't come to Great Britain to take anyone's life, so I left Gregson and disembarked the ship. I spent the night at a boarding house in the town and returned to England the following morning. A boarding house in Dunkirk? My signature will be in the register book. It would be simple enough to verify. Then what became of Gyoku? Gregson was no assassin, so the mark was spared. I'm sure it's easy enough to imagine what happened after that. Gregson returned to England as well, having failed to complete the mission. He met with the Reaper in that room on President Street to report the failure, causing an infuriated Masterman to pull the trigger and end his wretched agent's life. That's the real truth behind Inspector Gregson's murder. If you did nothing as you claim, how did the tip of your sword come to be lodged in the inspector's trunk? I don't need to answer that. The victim was killed by a gunshot. A small fragment of a Japanese blade isn't relevant to the case. Accordingly, I chose to exercise my right to silence on that matter. Be that as it may, the court will sequester the sword as evidence. As you wish, my lord. Let's take immediate action now. Karuma, the great blade. It's such a thing of beauty. I want to gaze on it for hours. Tip of the great sword, broken. Such a shame, it's been so meticulously cared for over the years. I can almost hear Karuma's sobs. Kazuma must have really taken a swing for that to happen. To verify whether Sessho Jigoku remains unharmed. What? Remains unharmed? I agree. That should be our first priority. Recently come to my attention that he hasn't been seen since yesterday. How did you? When a foreign dignitary invited to Great Britain goes missing for 24 hours? Only natural that the question of his safety should arise. You don't mean to say you think Judge Yoku may have been killed? The Reaper has more than one assassin at his disposal. He has the power and an influence to give orders from the inside of a prison cell. Isn't that right, Lord Van Zeeks? If I were truly the Reaper, I'd be able to tell you. Order in the court, order! We'll take an emergency recess for 30 minutes. Now? Guests at the symposium have been told to maintain regular contact with the organizer's office. The man can't be located within half an hour. We will have to assume the worst. Not Judge Gyoku. No one will want to kill a harmless Japanese man who'd only just arrived in the country. Except that is for the Reaper, wanting to finish off a mark that slipped through the net 10 years ago. I would have to agree. Mr. Naruto, for the defense's sake. My lord? I sincerely hope we are successful. If we're unable to confirm Mr. Gyoku's healthy existence in the next 30 minutes, you will face grave difficulties. Court is adjourned for 30 minutes. Kazuma-sama, the Reaper's assassin? I feel as though I'm in a nightmare. I can hardly believe it either. But on the other hand, Kazuma isn't in the habit of making up stories. I have such a terrible sense of foreboding. Something awful has happened to Judge Gyoku. And I feel as though things will only spiral further and further out of control. I felt it from the moment I stepped into the courthouse this morning. That strange sensation that we were careering towards a foregone conclusion. Well, in the worst case, we might only have 30 minutes left. Unfortunately, though, I don't think there is anything we can do but wait now. We're out of options. Actually, there may be one last hand we can play. Or rather, one last ear. Of course! The little Mr. Sholmes that Iris gave us. This song slaps. What should I do? Pull it! Here goes, and I'm going to do it. Ow! That scream sounded like Mr. Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes, where are you? Here, my dear fellow, here. It's the felt doll talking? Pull the ears again, Mr. Naruto, as hard as you can. All right, then. I'll pull all my strength into it. Heave. Ow! Please, my dear fellows, you don't need to pull my ear off. He's in the SS Buria? Sholmes, where are you? Myself and my trusty partner are presently in the first class cabin area of the SS Grouse. The SS Grouse? She left over last night after the final pieces of cargo were loaded. We are currently docked at Dunkirk, but due to underway again in half an hour. You've taken a ship to France? Please, even with my athletic prowess, I would struggle to jump the Straits of Dover. After we left Baker Street last night, we hurried by cab to the station and by train to the port in order to board this vessel in time. So, you mean, you already worked it out? The steamship was where everything really took place? Mr. Naruto, pray, what is my name? Sherlock Sholmes, world-famous great detective. Recited to perfection, well done. You're a genius, Mr. Sholmes. That's the only word for it. Ow, 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 ow. Mrs. Otto, gently with the genius's ears, please. Oh my, I'm ever so sorry. I may, Sholmes. Ah, there you are, Mikotoba. Remember that it was in fact I who made the connection to the SS Grouse at Scotland Yard yesterday when we examined that notebook and I recalled my steamship ticket? Ha ha ha, of course it was, my dear fellow. And not once did I controvert the fact that I merely had our court-bound companions under my name. Yes, you did, didn't you? Are you about to do an investigation? We've just entered a recess. The trial resumes in 30 minutes from now. And if we're unable to present any new leads then, I'm afraid to say... Do not fret, please. It's for precisely that purpose that my partner and I have made this journey. I no doubt we shall have welcome news for you within half an hour. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. That would be wonderful. Until later, then. Yes, you'll be hearing from us if you're not in touch first. Ow, 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 ow! I shan't be hearing anything of your teeth talking about ear in that mindless fashion. That was the idea about making a receiver operated in that way in the first place, Sholmes. Well, the deuce what I know. It's Iris' invention, not mine. Oh yeah, it's time to investigate. Well, so know how much you enjoy being the hero of the hour, Sholmes. Yeah, about half that now, before the grouse puts to sea again. If we don't conclude our investigations rapidly, we shall find ourselves in Naples before long. There are times, Mikotoba, when you make a surprising amount of sense. So let's begin. First class cabin number 2. Yes, this is the one. Moving investigation to the cabin. There's going to be plain sailing. Crewman standing in front of the door is an angry-looking fellow. Why you are loitering here? Who are you? My dear fellow, do you not recognize a world-famous great detective when you see one? The question really ought to be, who are you? Do you not recognize world Sir Deacon Stroganoff when you see great detective? Ha, I don't think so. You say that, Mikotoba. It would appear that this man is a devoted follower of mine. Goodness me, is that a tattoo? So that says Sholmes. I must say, while such adoration is flattering, naturally, does leave me a little cold. What are you talking about? Leave, now. How distressing. My loyal devotee knows me only by name and not by appearance. And yet I already know a great deal about you, sir. You have a brother, I believe. Like yourself, he's a shipman. Currently traveling the world aboard a Russian steamship, in fact. Huh, how could you know this? Elementary, my dear Mikotoba. I'm sure it was. 2 days ago, I was bound for London aboard this ship, you see. We're looking for one of my fellow passengers, a man by the name of Jigoku. There is no one with this name on board. We know that he purchased a ticket for passage. You mean Eastern Man. He left ship 2 hours ago. Here at Dunkirk, he said something about emergency, I think. What? Are you sure? Does he realize that we're after him, has he? Kevin is the one behind you. We should like to investigate, please. No! I have orders not to let even mouse inside. Mikotoba, be a good man and draw the sailor's attention away, would you? Make up some excuse until he leaves the area. Doesn't great detective see? And even sailors have ears, both left and right. Curses, the plan is ruined. And you have only yourself to blame, I'm afraid, Holmes. Forget it, cabin door is locked. When I am not here, you cannot get inside. Mikotoba, I'm sure you haven't forgotten my special talent, have you? Okay, any lock? In a mere 5 seconds, so if you'd be so kind as to afford me the requisite time, old friend. In your typical accommodating manner. Not gonna accept a typically unappealing request, old friend. Got that burly sailor for 5 seconds, do I? Good man, so? Aim is afoot. This is fun. A mouse trap. As I can distract the crewman's attention with this somehow. Let's try it. Shoot. That sounds like Big Mouse and Trap. Choo choo. I'll bring bucket of water later and put out of misery. I don't like the sound of that. Hey guys, my dear fellow, that was quite unconvincing. What Japanese mice make a choo sound? Oh really, Sholmes? And pray tell, what sound do Russian mice make? PP, naturally. Though also quite unconvincing, I readily admit. Go ahead, Mikotoba, do as a PP this time. No, thank you. I'm sure I can come up with an alternative solution. It appeared to be an alarm bell. How hell would break loose if that thing were to ring? The whole crew would know about it. Set it off. Here goes then. Army in advance. You, what are you doing? If we were at sea, that would be a very bad problem. What's going on down there? So Dragonoff, report at once. Sorry, sir, nothing to report. It was a stupid trick. No, not by me, by world famous. No, as I told you. No, done. Not even 5 seconds, eh? Well, don't send Goggin at my brilliance. Here we go. Oh, yes. Good gracious. It would appear that the occupant of this cabin did indeed disembark rather hurriedly. Those clothes on the floor there. They're Seshiro's, without question. Seems you're just a little too late. Yes, by about 2 hours. Still, whilst we're here, we should investigate thoroughly. There may well be 2 hours worth of clues to find in here. That burly crewman may return at any moment, Sholmes. Indeed, he may. Here's all the more thrilling! The speaking tube, look, it's been covered with some cloth. So the voices of the crewmen on the bridge aren't an annoyance, I suppose. Or indeed, so the voices in this cabin are heard elsewhere. Something have happened in here while there was no one else's ears, do you think? Either that, or it could be to prevent snakes from entering. That's really become a favorite case of yours, hasn't it? But due to the exclusive class, I must say, you see here how it is something wrong, Sholmes? Suddenly trailed off. Ice, Mikotoba, ice! What opulence! The first class passengers enjoy chilled drinks. Pardon? Could it be that this steamship is equipped with an electrically refrigerated cold room, do you think? Oh! Are you kidding me? Mikotoba, the sight of you is making my mouth water. I haven't taken on the flavor of the food I ate, you know. Very sizable trunk indeed. Seshiro's parts with all things large. Rather clumsy fellow if he failed to notice he left that behind. Perhaps he left it on purpose. It's lighter than you might think, but still a hindrance to a speedy escape. Pity, it's locked, so he can't look inside. 35 seconds from now, the situation will be quite different, though. Sadly not, it has a 7-digit combination lock. And I'm not in a morse enough mood to work through all the combinations at present. Potentially keep clothes on the floor. An overcoat, shirts, dressing gown, Mohiki work trousers, a Tanzan robe, a hallmarky waistband. Clearly the clothing of a Japanese man. Clearly Japanese men are all good accustomed to the culture of the wardrobe. Looks to me as if they've been thrown into a heap like that in something of a hurry. You could help yourself to a Japanese man's shirt, perhaps. Whoa. Going to Mikotoba. Is that what you mean, Johan? According to the report I was given, Naruhodo was concealing himself in Soki's wardrobe. Indeed he was, and it was of a similar size to this one. Most climb inside yourself, my dear fellow. What? Whatever for? Started my first people meeting with Mr. Naruhodo. Experience a moment for yourself now. Do with the dramatic rhetoric. Come along now, in you go. Just want to take a moment. Really show him, sure you can just tell me what you said. Well, I heard some brilliant remarking up in the wardrobe to reveal the stolen murder. I think I'll just read about it in the Adventures of the Sherlock Holmes. Oh, it's like a different color just here. Do you see? Indeed, what you reserved. What a friend has been hanging has been removed. Perhaps your friend is an art thief? Nah, there's a bold deduction worthy of a great detective, I'm sure. There will be the elusive thief who have been plaguing Francis' galleries of late. I think perhaps we should focus our attentions elsewhere, Sholmes. Don't you? Lying on the wall, I feel as though I might have spotted something of a similar shape and size elsewhere. These are the rules of passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. Additionally, there are severe punishments for stowing away in wardrobes and or travel cases. I feel the rules have increased until after the probably just my imagination. What about the fact that they're not straight on the wall? Doesn't that strike you? I like how Ryunosuke single-handedly changed the entire rule set of a ship company. You know what I always say, Mikotoba? There is nothing important about trifles. Probably just my imagination, but I think that might be slightly off. Plenty of reading material to keep passengers occupied on the long sea voyages. I have found the mixture of classic literature and easy reading to be most saturated most states. Whoever saw the bookcase was a helpless heretic. No copy of the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, my dear fellows. I'm afraid it's just me, but no, you're quite right. More blasphemous than overlooking the Bible. Wow. Should leave a copy behind. I just happen to have one with me. You're a true missionary of the Church of Great Detectives, aren't you? That's kind of funny. Those in this vessel have locks, I believe. A wise idea. You never know where and when criminals may strike. But of course, to the great detective Sherlock Holmes, lock, bolt, or shirt button, it makes no difference. All are unfastened with equal ease. Sorry. The way you go on, it sounds like a great thief than a great detective. My dear Mikotoba, as long as there is greatness, I am quite satisfied. Heh, of course you are. A waste paper basket, look, and there's still rubbish inside. Indeed, then let us pry. Discover recently I have a penchant for exploring the contents of others' waste paper baskets. It's really hope only for your work. Ah. Here we have a notice issued to the passengers from 3 days ago. 3 days ago, the night before we arrived in London then. I was still aboard myself. Following a departure for the port of Dunkirk. Oh, frick! I didn't read all that. Evacuation drill. Continuously, all first-class passengers were constantly under the watchful eye of the crew. It was a welcome relief to have some privacy for once. You are still here. Ah, able seaman Stroganoff. Hello again. I was beginning to think you'd never materialize. You're waiting for me? Of course, I was expecting you to burst in with a hearty Russian profanity far sooner. I was in trouble with Kedrick because of a trick you played before. Poor innocent chicken. Most people pronounced chicken. It's all your fault. Ship is leaving port soon. Off now. That's a 3. That looks more like a... or an M. Or, I don't know, like a number. Of course, we shall disembark presently, my dear fellow, but first, there is something that must be done. What are you talking about? Why, naturally, the debunking of your deceit and the bearing of the truth. Kikoi? I'm afraid I see through your lies. For one thing, Mr. Jioku has not yet left this vessel at all. Ah! And for another, my dear Seaman Stroganoff, you know exactly where the man is even as we speak, don't you? How can you? Good gracious, Sholmes, you mean you worked it out? All of it? It's really been too long, hasn't it, old friend? 10 years, no less. So, would you care to join me for a dance? My inimitable logic and reasoning. Nothing would please me more. What is this? We have but minutes until the vessel puts to sea. No games now. Time is of the essence. Mr. Stroganoff, allow me to remind you of your earlier claim. You told us that Jioku left the ship some 2 hours ago. Duh! That is what I said. Sadly, that was a rather clumsy lie. You see, there is something in this room that quite clearly contradicts it. What? Ah, yes, of course. You noted it too, Mikotoba. Then please, do take the lead. One of this cabin shows the impossibility of Jioku having disembarked 2 hours ago. Let's see what the last 3 years have done to your observational skills in Mikotoba. For 10 years since we last did this, Sholmes, not 3. Why, of course it has. This song is good. Now, all the clues are here in the cabin for your eyes to see, but as I always say, you must not merely look, but observe, and the answers become clear. Impress me. I think I can manage that. Here is what I'm going to... I have 2 thoughts. The main one is that there shouldn't be... the ice would have melted.
Take that!
Oh my gosh, hello? What was that? That was weird and sick at the same time. I just cleared that glass. How curious that the ice shouldn't have melted despite being abandoned 2 hours ago. Ah. It appeared that the man was here in this very cabin until moments before our arrival. With his well-chilled glass in hand. You might have to refresh Mr. One might even conclude that somebody informed him of our boarding. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Stroganoff? Yeah, Mikotoba slaps. Why would Seshiro run from us? Before I consider that question, allow me to confirm one small matter. Would I be correct in saying that these first-class cabins of the SS Grouse are the same ones in which you and Mr. Jioku were accommodated on your voyage from Japan? That's right. They are. I was in the cabin next door, and Seshiro was, yes, 50 days in this very cabin during our voyage. As I suspected, for you see, there are traces in this cabin of a dark secret that Mr. Jioku had to hide. What traces? I know nothing about this. This is news to you, is it, Mr. Stroganoff? Sholmes, what exactly are you getting at? As I said, there are traces in this cabin of some nefarious activity. And it appears out of place, which I'm quite sure it won't have escaped your notice. I mean, out of place in here? Must say, I didn't foresee ever doing this dance and deduction with you again, Mikotoba. No, quite, but life is full of unexpected twists and turns. Well, you well know. And then let's see if I can uncover the truth here. Yes, you have the floor, my dear fellow. The remnants of the dark deed? I feel like this is the remnants.
Take that!
Okay, it's actually the... Oh man, I was wrong about the 50-50. Ha ha ha. Quite right you are. That was a close shave. I better rethink that before I'm the fool here. Not tilt your head.
Take that!
I wasn't sure. Because, like, that was on the other wall, and that, it said the remnants. Like, this is remnant, but that's also remnant. Maybe they're hanging crooked on the wall, as if they were put there in a hurry. Yes, and I'm sure you've already concluded. That frame was originally over here. The shape and size was a perfect match. Ah, you were right. When did frame move? Hardly the most observant of crewmen, are you, Mr. Stroganoff? I think you're kind of so justified in having his reservations about your reliability. Grrr. Oh dear, that really seemed to touch a nerve. Tell me, Kotoba, why don't you lift that frame off the wall? That looks like a bullet hole. What? Who has been shooting walls? I see the projectile has been removed. Clearly the careful occupant of this room has already disposed of it. Jioku? Wait, what? Senior impression that you're attempting to shield the said occupant. I don't know what you were talking about. Why should I try to protect Eastern Stranger? So we're talking about the same man, I see. Good. I'm sure you can get to the bottom of this in no time, aren't you? Because there's some very noteworthy evidence that explains the reason why you're lying for the man. Yes, you've been told to keep up this pretense, as clearly shown by... Really don't know how to approach this one, Sholmes. My dear Mikotoba, simply keep first principles in mind. Study your subject from every angle, and I'm quite sure that you'll see it. In fact, I'll put a wager on it. We'll grab them from all sides. I can certainly do that.
Take that!
Dope. It's almost too obvious for words. What? The universal language of the world. Money. Not a wager that the Eastern fellow in question is Seshiro Jioku, yes? So I presume you realize what this means. There are clear signs that a crime has been committed in this cabin. And the way you're going, sir, you'll find yourself accused of being an accomplice. But... I believe you know, Mr. Stroganoff. You know where Mr. Jioku's hiding in this precise moment in time. As always, Mikotoba, in matters of deduction, the furtive glance is your unfaltering ally. Yes, I think you're onto something there, Sholmes. We found the chink in this brilliant fellow's armor. We only follow this man's gaze to know where our prey is hiding. So I flicker the pupils, a minutely diluted blank. This gets my attention, even that to which is barely perceptible. Probably call this barely perceptible, Sholmes. The man's turned his entire head. Exactly what you describe as a furtive glance, is it? Almost too obvious. We shall let your tapping toes aside, my dear fellow.
Take that!
You turned immediately to look at this large trunk, didn't you? The truth is, Seshiro Jioku was unable to escape from the ship in time, and is, at this very moment, doing his best to stifle his breath inside this trunk. He still has breath to take. I fear he may be running dangerously low on air. Imagine you didn't count on us making a nuisance of ourselves for quite so long. You would never express interest. Let's open the trunk as quickly as possible. But how can we? Are you forgetting about the combination lock? You don't know the 7-digit code. The combination lock can't be opened from inside the trunk. Therefore, there must have been an arrangement for somebody to open it after our departure. In short, before Gyokko had himself inside the trunk, he must have told somebody the 7-digit number for the lock. As I'm sure you can confirm, Mr. Dragunov. No, I know nothing about combination. So that's, is it backwards? 5631045. Very clever. Huh? Yeah, I should open the trunk. Alright, these should be 7-digit number. Remember? Quickly now. We have a little time. Wait. I have to do this backwards. Oh wait, is that 52311045? 52311045. Wait, hold on. I gotta get a note. Wait. Yeah, so from left to right. 52311045.
Take that!
Click. That did it. It's open. You had the medal, didn't you? Well, Eugen, you found me now. Seshiro. I was really hoping beyond hope not to find you here, you know. But you're not entirely unsurprised, I take it? No, quite. I just wish it were some other way. Well, are you ever going to introduce me? Ah, your reputation precedes you, Mr. Sholmes. I've read stories of many of your exploits. Excuse me, Mayor Sholmes. This is Mr. Gyokko, my old friend and traveling companion. The devil's in the details, Mikotoba. I believe you meant to say your old friend and traveling companion who made the cowardly decision to flee the country without a word to anyone when things turned sour. Your reputation precedes me as well. What an honor. Well, Seshiro, are you going to explain all this? You know by now, I imagine. What you didn't know, of course, is that 3 days ago, on the night before our arrival in Britain, an attempt was made on my life here on this very ship. By the Reaper of the Bailey. Yes, I've since heard. Because you were once prosecuted by the Reaper, weren't you? 10 years ago now, mind you. I had no idea at the time what a dangerous individual he was. Anyway, when we arrived in London to find the symposium was postponed until goodness knows when, it became all too apparent to me that I might very well be targeted again. You decided to flee the capital without saying a word to me about it? I'm afraid so, yes. Of course, I realize now that I really ought to have confided in you. Somewhat surprising, I must say. What is? Well, first-class cabins aboard luxury steamships are in very short supply. More than a little hard to believe that this one just happened to be available. Those are the protagonists of some colorful short stories. Well, I don't care for your opinion. The cabin did just happen to be available, so I purchased a ticket, and here I am. I've just seen for myself the obvious remnants of that incident in this cabin, so you'd already purchased your return ticket before we even docked in Dover, had you? Prevented anyone else from taking this cabin and seeing the evidence, is that it? Eugen, I have nothing to say to you. Well, in a mere 5 minutes, this ship will set off on its onward voyage and not make port again until Italy. For you must insist that you disembark with us at once. You have no jurisdiction over my movements. We have this, Seshiro. Take it. What is it? The sub-piano from the Old Bailey. You're a man of the law. You know what the ramifications of ignoring a document like this from the British courts would be. You came prepared then, Eugen. Oh, he's mad. Come on, let's go. One moment. What is it, Sholmes? Inside Mr. Gyoku's trunk, I found this rather fascinating trinket. What is that, Seshiro? I can't help you, I'm afraid. Some small component from something. But what, I have no idea. The look on his face, I think he genuinely doesn't know. Well, this pocket is a small souvenir from a brief sojourn in France. Young Naruto, I think we've done as much as we can, I'm afraid. The rest will be on the shoulders of you and your assistant. It's getting serious. Kazuma Sogi, I know you, and I know you wouldn't lie. But still, there's no doubt that you're holding something back. You know more than you're saying. During the past 30 minutes while the court was adjourned, all possible efforts were expended. But sadly, Mr. Gyoku's whereabouts could not be ascertained. Let's accept the unfortunate conclusion that the Reaper has already done the deed. There's no sense in wasting any more of the court's time. The prosecution calls for an immediate verdict. No, the trial cannot end now. You're a Japanese man, Ryunosuke. You should know when to lay down your sword. And you should know never to presume when the battle is won. The court has already been presented with all the evidence and heard all relevant testimony. There can only be one conclusion. The accused is guilty. All relevant testimony? Far from it. There's still a crucial witness, from whom the court has yet to hear a single word of testimony. In that case, call your witness to the stand at once, counsel. Yes, my lord. Tomorrow, if possible. Witness is already on his way, and is scheduled to arrive tomorrow. Who on earth is this crucial witness? Seshiro Gyoku. The very man allegedly murdered by the Reaper. To Judge Gyoku? You found him? The investigations of every policing resource in the capital suggest that Gyoku is already dead. How in the name of God did you find the man? He was located in France during the recess at the port of Dunkirk. Thanks to one of Mr. Herlock Sholmes' famous deductions. Herlock Sholmes, Inspector Gregson almost certainly met with Mr. Gyoku on the night of his death. Because along with Prosecutor Sogi, Gregson was on a mission to assassinate the man. Which means that Seshiro Gyoku is the sole witness who can clarify exactly what happened aboard the SS Grouse on the 31st of October. Well, it would appear it's too soon to move to adjudication at this point. Prosecution concurs. The court must hear Mr. Gyoku's testimony. No judgment should be passed until all testimony has been considered. In that case, we call the end of today's proceedings. Court will reconvene at the same hour tomorrow. No objections from either side? No, my lord. No objections, my lord. We live to fight another day. By the skin of our teeth. Kazuma. Oh, that's actually a super cool fun fact, and you would never know that until you hear him. Like, you hear more. I'm gonna continue. However, I will probably cut myself off in about an hour or so. Regardless of where I'm at. I expect to hold the proceedings in a clamor in the courtroom. Outside the Bailey, the Londoners knew nothing of the secret trial within. It was a typical still night. Then at a little past 8 o'clock that evening, Mr. Sholmes and his partner returned to Baker Street. Holy moly moly! What is this? Your return, my dear fellows. Welcome back to Britain, and thank you for your timely help. Ain't nothing of it. I believe you've had an even more wearing day than Mikotoba and I know. You could say that we were on the brink of defeat in court earlier. This prosecutor, Sogi, had you on the ropes, did he? And he's your best friend, you say? Well, it's not really the man I knew in Japan anymore. Kazuma's changed. Oh, Mr. Naruhodo. I mean, it's incredible to think that he'd even entertained the idea of acting as the Reaper's assassin. Nevertheless, you must introduce me. After all, I've only met the young man as a corpse. And all this started almost a year ago now. Mr. Sholmes still hasn't told us the truth about what really happened back then. But the motivation for what he himself described as a great detective's lie. Now that I must say, it's really quite a journey all the way to France. It is another country, Mr. Sholmes. So, what news of Judge Gyoku? We took up the Scotland Yard. The investigating detectives there have a lot of questions for the man. Or Professor Mikotoba. This would be quite a shock for him. Ah yes, I picked this up at the telegraph office on our way home. What is it? Surely you haven't forgotten already. I put upon you only for the matter only yesterday. It's a bill. You put upon me, Sholmes. I had to fill out your telegram to Japan and foot the bill as well. Oh, you've had a reply already? Oh, it's the telegram. Oh, so urgent though, Mr. Sholmes. This matter can wait until later. I'm far too hungry for an involved conversation at present. Well, that's good news. Because supper's ready, everyone. Ah, and what a feast it is. If I were none the wiser, I'd think the trial were won already. Roast beef, kipper, stew, steak, and kidney pie, Yorkshire pudding. Well, it could be a very long day, so eat up. In that case, I think I'll seat myself just here. This place appears to be the only one set with a helping of pheasant as well. Oh, sorry, Hurley, not there. Huh? Why not? Are you in set places this evening? Yes, and that place is for Susie's daddy. For me? That's right. I made it especially for you, Professor Mikey. Or Mickey. I see. Well, that's terribly kind of you. It's a shame, really. What do you mean? Well, for a brief moment, I believed it. That Susie and I were half-sisters, I mean. Oh. Iris, you mean... Yes, I know now. I overheard yesterday. I secretly listened into the conversation you had after I tricked you all into thinking I'd left. What? Oh no, Sholmes is mortified. Misunderstanding arose because of that autopsy report from 10 years ago. But actually, it turned out that neither Dr. Wilson nor Professor Mikotoba are Iris' father. Yes, about that, Iris. You know, I know, you can't tell me at the moment. Iris? Pheasant is by way of an apology. I'm sorry for eavesdropping. So the Wilson that we were with was not Iris's dad. Apparently. Well, I get unapologetic pheasants. Just who is Iris's father? Suppose that's not something we'll be finding out today. What if her dad's Clint Van Zeeks? Wouldn't that be crazy? Fine idea, Sholmes. It all looks absolutely delicious. Eat as much as you like. There are always seconds. Did you really, Johan? That's a sick prediction to make. That's a sick prediction to make. Who's the most likely to be Iris's dad? I mean, I guess it could be her. I mean, it doesn't seem like it'd be her. Like, that's weird. Gosh, it feels like it'd be weird for maybe Strongheart. It could be Clint Van Zieks. It really could be. Unless she's Gregson's daughter. Oh my gosh, what if she's Gregson's daughter? That would be insane. But I feel like that's still kind of weird. It would make sense why he dotes on her, though I know there's a very plausible explanation with him getting the raise. Honestly, it could be a lot of people. I feel like Clint Van Zieks would be like the insane. Like, what a world it would be for like Van Zieks to realize that Iris is his brother's daughter, and then he has like this purpose to like love and care for her. That would be a sick ending. Oh, a telegram about Jan and Kaza. Well, I can't let this opportunity slip away. Sholmes, we're gonna have a conversation. Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing? Clearly, it's abundantly clear that I wasn't brooding over Mikotoba's refusal to share his pheasant with me. Nevertheless, I felt the need to withdraw from the struggle for a while and look on with hungry eyes. Huh. Sorry, Early, but I cooked that pheasant especially for Susie's daddy. Even though I played the role of father to you for far longer. Mr. Sholmes, can I discuss some things with you? Certainly, my dear fellow, I find myself quite in the mood for a spell of conversation. No doubt. You're hungry to learn more about deep love of the game. I can probably contain my curiosity on that one. You need to look at me in that fashion. In what fashion? It seems that before we discuss the pheasant, we have some rather unpheasant matters to discuss. What was in that telegram you received back from Japan, then? This. I think my lucky stars arrived in time. Record found as indicated. Duplicate follows. A. Asogi, A. Shin, T. Gregson, J. Wilson. We found this at the end of the first game. Those 4 names. We've crossed the exact list before. They came up in that unforgettable case last spring. It appeared to be a simple case of aggravated murder. It turned out to be masking monumental intrigue. The plot involved the sale of British governmental secrets to foreign states. Supposing the means by which those secrets are being leaked, we deciphered a fragment of a message. A. Sogi, A. Shin, T. Gregson, J. Wilson. We didn't find the names out until the case was over, and we never did get to the bottom of what they meant. All we knew was that the information had been sent by somebody in the British government to somebody in Japan. So why are the names coming up again now? Where did the sender your telegram discover them, Mr. Sholmes? I have here the message I wired yesterday. Allow me to read it to you. Enter Judge Gyoku's office undetected, investigate telegram records. Oh my gosh, is he in cahoots with Lord Strongheart? Expect to find communication from Brand Data 1 year ago. List of 4 names, need by tomorrow. Naruhodo. I sent it to a detective I know who specializes in clandestine missions of this nature. You asked Inspector Hosonaga. Hosonaga? Oh my gosh, Hosonaga is so cool. Let's go. I love that he kept his frog on. Remember what guys he opted for this time. My dear fellows, it was a matter of great urgency, you understand. Anyway, the list of names was found in Seshiro's office, as Sholmes predicted. So you mean the mysterious collection of names that was sent from Britain to Japan was for Gyoku? I don't believe it. That doesn't answer the question of what the list of names actually signifies. I did formulate a hypothesis about that, but without a shred of evidence, I couldn't possibly have shared it. Holmes looks deadly serious for once. That tragedy we had to go through on the SS Buria. It's all for nothing. Cosmo wasn't dead at all. Completely taken in by the lie you told us. Your great detective's lie. I took no pleasure in deceiving you. However, at the time, all that concerned me was preventing the young man's study tour from taking place, whatever the cost. What? I capitalized on the events that transpired to see that he was sent back to Japan. His remains, you mean? Precisely, Miss Susato. And then I made sure that somebody else was sent to Britain in his stead. You mean... The arrangement between our two countries was already in place. One university student lawyer and one judicial assistant to be accommodated on a study tour. In other words, by arranging for someone else to fill the place originally intended for Mr. Sogi. I would successfully prevent the man from arriving on our shores for several years at least. You mean to say that it was all in aid of stopping Cosmo coming to Britain? That's why you... Think back, Mr. Naruhodo. Was there not somebody who quite casually urged you to continue on the voyage to England? Head of site to write negotiate with the Department of Justice of both Great Britain and Japan. Oh, Mr. Sogi's unfortunate death. I'm afraid the study tour can no longer go ahead. My dear fellows, the majority of problems have an extremely simple solution, you know. All you require is one lawyer, and the study tour can continue, surely. There is no one else with the necessary qualifications, Mr. Sholmes. We know of no other lawyer. Voyage to London still promises a good month of time. What opportunity, I would say, to find yourselves another suitable lawyer. So you manipulated me? I've often remarked on the extraordinary lengths to which friendship will drive a man. I was quite sure that you would rise to the challenge for your late friend. I don't believe it. And if it was all contrived, I mean, what happened was treated by the authorities as murder. A woman was mistakenly arrested as the perpetrator. What do you suppose became of her? Oh, naturally, I didn't allow the misapprehension to have any serious repercussions. I subsequently explained everything and assisted the unfortunate soul in finding the foreign refuge she sought. I didn't remember Miss Susato and I had some rather strong words for her. Well, she was certainly not devoid of all guilt. She deserved every word, I'm sure. I wonder if she made it to America then. I'm afraid I simply cannot comprehend it. Why would you go to such lengths, Mr. Sholmes? Why are you so determined to stop Cosmo-sama from reaching Britain? Truth is, 12 months ago, there was already a very tangible omen of the impending tragedy, you see. An omen that at this very moment in time is close at hand. An omen of all these tragic events that already existed a year ago? Close at hand? I don't know exactly what Mr. Sholmes knows. No doubt with your instructions in the telegram, Mr. Sholmes, you were very clear that it was Judge Yoko's office that should be searched. So, obviously knew that's where the list of names would be found. A. Sogi, A. Shin, T. Gregson, J. Wilson. Now, I learned of those four names just over 6 months ago now. Only because they appeared as part of the top secret government communications that were leaked. That's true, yes. But at the time, you were unaware of the background. You see, those four names were wired to Japan around 6 months before that, approximately this time last year, in fact, when you were both still in Japan. It really would be hypocrisy on my part to reprove others for intercepting state secrets, because after all, I am perpetually eavesdropping on communications between the British and Japanese governments. You're perpetually doing what? How? Never mind the details, but you should know. No secret is safe from Herlock Sholmes when he has designs on knowing it. Mr. Sholmes, what a fabulous line. Song slaps. Now, 1 month into the list of four names wired to the recipient, Jyogoku in Japan. Dr. John H. Wilson was murdered. As soon as I learned of the incident, a hypothesis rapidly took shape in my mind. As it turned out, I was partly correct and partly mistaken. Nevertheless, it was the beginning of all the tragic events that were to follow. Mr. Sholmes, please tell us all you know. Tell us about these 4 names and the tragedy to which they're somehow connected. As I said, when I learned of Dr. Wilson's murder in Japan, my mind immediately turned to those 4 names. Because you see, there was someone else on the list who I believed to be recently deceased. What? Who? Eishin, as it was transcribed in Japanese script. In actual fact, Miss Asashin was a familiar name to me. She was a professional killer, well known among London's unsavory classes. Oh, I see. She had completely vanished from existence several months before Wilson's murder. I came to the logical conclusion that she had herself been killed. Accordingly, I became fearful for the lives of the remaining 2 persons on the list, Kei Asogi and T. Gregson. Owing to our proximity, I decided to take measures to protect Gregson myself, but I determined it would be safest if Yanasogi were to stay away from Britain. Ah, so that's why you went to such lengths to prevent his study tour from going ahead. Exactly. So you already knew who Kazuma-sama was, Mr. Sholmes? Oh yeah, Sholmes and I have exchanged correspondence for years. There kind of many tales about Asogi to him in my letters, and the news of Dr. Wilson's death, of course. Dr. Wilson is dead, then. I didn't know. Oh, Iris, I know he wasn't my daddy, but still. That's very sad. I'm so sorry, Iris. We knew the significance of the name, obviously, but we just couldn't bring ourselves to tell you. No. What you just told us, Mr. Sholmes, doesn't completely tie in with the facts. There's one big hole in your hypothesis. Big hole, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes. You mean about Asashin, I presume? Exactly, she wasn't killed. She was she? She was in Japan, posing as a visiting student under the assumed name of Giselle Brett. Glad you're keeping up, my dear fellow, but I only became aware of that fact 2 days ago, in the foyer of the Great Waterloo Hotel. Ah. Upon hearing that startling revelation, I hypothesis I had formed surrounding those 4 names was completely turned topsy. What? Topsy? What do you mean when you say your hypothesis would turn out topsy, Mr. Sholmes? I believe all 4 names on the list to be the names of victims. However, I was mistaken. Very much so. Asashin was a killer. This telegram is a list of both victims and killers, isn't it? Indeed, and it would seem that Miss Shin was dispatched from Britain with the sole intention of dispatching Dr. Wilson. Her visiting student status being merely a front. Ah! Which would of course explain why no motive could be determined for her actions. The real reason Dr. Wilson was killed by Asashin is because she was the target of an assassination. And formed with that knowledge, fresh consideration of this telegram puts the list in a very different perspective. What do you mean? Well, does it not strike you? There's another among the 4, which subsequently became a visiting student. You mean? But of course, a name you know only too well. You mean Kazuma? Kazuma was sent to kill Gregson? Oh my god! What the heck? Surely not. In conclusion, this document is a contract of sorts. An international agreement, one might say, detailing an assassin exchange. An assassin exchange. Would Cosmo have gotten involved in something like that? No way. Let's assume that we have 2 parties, each wishing to dispose of a distinct individual. Those parties then make a contract to swap their respective assassination targets. That would then be an assassin exchange. To begin with, the British assassin is dispatched as a visiting student to Japan, where she kills her target. And then the Japanese assassin dispatches a visiting student to Britain in order to eliminate his target. It does sound like an exchange. But what on earth is the point? Don't forget, Naruhodo. The British assassin at least escaped conviction, thanks to diplomatic immunity afforded by consular jurisdiction. Yes? Such jurisdiction would be null and void under the terms of the news treaty between our two countries. So the fact that it was brought into place suggests intervention at the very highest levels, the highest levels. These matters were two sides of the same coin, linked not by common motive, but by contractual agreement. As such, they appeared utterly unrelated, yet in truth, the assassins were complicit in one singular devilish scheme. That dissociation and the safeguard of diplomatic immunity were, I believe, the motivation behind this plot. Wait a minute, Sholmes. This telegram is really describing the exchange of assassins as you're suggesting. It would mean that the Japanese killer's target was never Sessho Jigoku at all. It would mean Asogi's target was actually Inspector Gregson. Cosmo was here for Gregson? Judge Yugo wasn't the mark? Yes, that's exactly what it would mean. I hold myself personally responsible for failing to keep the inspector safe. Mr. Sholmes. I told him of my fears and implored him to seek a transfer to an overseas position. Obviously, with the young pickpocket in tow. Gina. I think of it, Inspector Gregson did mention that to us at the Great Exhibition. He'd be transferred to the Paris police and taking Gina with him. But without informing me, he engaged in one last assignment, it seems. And sadly, it turned out to be his very last. Too much to take in. Is Cosmo a killer? Alright everyone, that's quite enough of all that serious talk for one day. Isn't it, Hurley? I mean, look at the time. Ah, quite right, Iris. We must conclude our preparations for tomorrow. What preparations? Well, I think I shall make my way back to my hotel room now. This has certainly been a night to remember. It is a little bit sad, though. I mean, I like the idea of you being my daddy. Because then Susie would have been my big sister. Sorry, Iris. I know, Iris. I was thinking quite the same thing. Were you? Somebody like me would be worthy. I would be delighted to become your sister. What? Really? Oh yes, without question. So, you'll teach me all the ways you know to throw Runo on the floor? Oh yes, of course. It would be my pleasure. You didn't have to agree quite so readily. Oh, but wait a minute. If she's gonna be my big sister, you can be my big brother if you want, Runo. Huh? I mean, yes, of course. If you'll have me, I'll gladly be your brother. Well done, Iris. You must always be mindful of feelings. I've raised you so well. Ha 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 ha. Because being sensitive is your strong suit, naturally. Johan. Right, I'm going to work extra hard for tomorrow now because it's for my big brother and sister. What is all this talk about preparing for tomorrow? Preparing what? Hee hee. You'll just have to wait and see. Oh. Good luck in court tomorrow. I'm expecting a sterling performance. I'll do my very best, of course. The overnight break in the trial's proceedings came a crucial turning point. Closing a new truce while posing new conundrums. A list of 4 names on the telegram in Judge Yoku's office. An extraordinary assassination plot in which my best friend had somehow become involved. I felt as though I had been plunged into an even greater darkness all of a sudden. At the same time, I was sure I would see the light again soon. Because I was lucky enough to have the most wonderful family in the world standing steadfastly behind me. Aww. I like that line. That's a nice line. That was nice. Nice indeed. But can we do it? Can we bring all the pieces together? We're getting so close. Is this really the final part of the trial? What could possibly be going on? I guess we'll just have to find out next time on Great Ace Attorney 2, the final chapter. Thank you all for watching the episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great night, and we will see you next time.